Hello and welcome to this video on functions in Python. Functions are a key feature of any programming language, and Python is no exception. In this video, we're going to explore what functions are, how to create and use them in Python, and some of the benefits of using functions. First, let's define what a function is. A function is a block of code that performs a specific task and only runs when it is called. You can think of a function as a small program within your larger program. In Python, we create a function using the def keyword, followed by the name of the function, a set of parentheses, and a colon. The code that makes up the function goes inside the indented block that follows. Now let's look at an example. First we start with the def keyword, then for the function name I will use my first function, open and close parenthesis, and finally a colon. For the body we will print a message, this is my first program. To use this function, we simply have call it by its name followed by parenthesis. Save the code and run it. See, the message is printed. You can call the function as many times as you want. Functions can take inputs, perform some operations within the body. From a function's perspective, these input have two names: parameters and arguments. The difference between them is parameter is the variable listed inside the parentheses in the function when defining it, and argument is the value that is sent to the function when it is called. Consider a function which takes a number as input and print its squared value. I will use the name squared for the function, and for the parameter I will use a variable with name x. For the body we have to square the number and I will store its value in a variable called y, then print y, and now we will call the function squared and enter 4 as the argument. What happens now when I run the code is that 4 will be stored as the value of x in the definition. Let's run the code and the output will be the square value, which is 16. Call the function again with argument as 10 and we can see that 100 is printed. You can use many arguments as you like. To separate arguments, we have to use a comma. Here's another function to get the addition of two numbers. I will use the name addition for the function and x and y as parameters for the numbers we need to add. Then add x to y and store it in a variable called a and print a. We will call the function with arguments for x and y as 2 and 5. Save the code and run the program, and as expected the sum will be printed as 7. Try calling the function again with different arguments. Function definitions cannot be empty, but if you for some reason have a function definition with no content, put in the pass statement to avoid getting an error. The function return statement is used to exit from a function and go back to the place in the code where the function was called and return the specified value or data item to the caller. The return statement can consist of a variable, an expression, or a constant which is returned to the end of the function execution. Let's see an example. First, let's write function that returns a value from an expression. We can return the addition of x and y, then we can directly print the value returned by the addition function. We can enter the arguments as 2 and 5. Next, let's try to return a variable, and for that we will make a slight adjustment to the previous code. We will add x and y and store it in a variable called add and then return the value of add. So now we are returning a variable. Save the code and run again. You can also store the value returned by a function inside a variable to be used later. For an example, I will call the function addition with the previous arguments and store it in a variable called total. Then save the code and run again. One of the main benefits of using functions is that they make your code more organized. You can think of functions as modular blocks that perform specific tasks, and you can reuse these blocks in other parts of your program. This makes your code easier to maintain, as you can make changes to a function in one place and have those changes reflected throughout your entire program. Functions also make it easier to test your code, as you can test each function individually, rather than having to test your entire program every time you make a change. Functions can also be useful for improving code readability. By giving descriptive names to your functions and breaking down your program into smaller, more manageable pieces, you can make it easier for others to understand what your code is doing. I hope this video has been helpful in introducing you to functions in Python. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.